Hello everybody, and welcome back to Evolving Vibes, the community for witches, pagans, spiritualists, and everybody in between. So for today's video, what we're going to be doing is talking about enchanting our grimoire just a little bit more. And how are we going to do that? Well, I've been thinking about it all week, and I've been writing it down all week, but I thought it'd be great to put together a video to talk about different lists that you might be able to put inside your grimoire. Maybe some of them are going to be permanent. Maybe some of them are just going to be with post-it note. Maybe some of them will be like with me on, very specific pieces of paper that I can either take with me or at the end of the cycle, fold it up and burn it up and send it off into the universe. A lot of different ways of doing it. It all depends upon you and your practice. Now be sure to stay tuned to the end of the video because I'll be sharing with you very specific methods and ways that I utilize lists within my practice and how I keep the information organized so I can actually add it to my grimoire at the end of my day, end of my cycle, whenever it might be. So let's get started with our list, and I hope to see you on the other side of the camera. So what made me come up with lists for the grimoire? Well, first and foremost, I got a few emails recently asking for more grimoire videos. So what I'm going to try to do is do a grimoire video on a regular basis. This one's going to be on list, and next one, we'll see what it is. If you have an idea for the next grimoire that you'd like to see, leave it in the comments. But let's go with the lists. And mind you, none of these are in any particular order. They're just as I was thinking of them, I wrote them down. So first and foremost, one of the ones that we could actually do is a list of the Zodiac Signs of the people closest to us. What kind of personality do they have? What are their turn-ons? What are their turn-offs? What are the do's and don'ts when working with this person, when dealing with this person, when communicating with this person? Keeping a list of the Zodiac Signs and the correspondences of the personality with the Zodiac Signs can be huge helpful for you with understanding and interacting with other people, especially ones closest to you. You can make a list of the lunar cycles and your activities within the lunar cycles. What do you do on a new moon or on a full moon or on a waning or waxing moon? What kind of incense do you burn? What kind of candles do you burn? Are there very specific oils that you use? Do you have very specific rituals that you like to do? Anything like that, it's really helpful to keep inside your book. It's a nice go-to, but along with that, when you're feeling a little stuck in your magic, it gives you something that you can pull out of that book and include in your realm of your magic, your magical realm. Speaking of lunar cycles, make a list of how you cleanse during each lunar cycle. For the new moon or for the full moon, do you cleanse? If you do, how do you cleanse? How do you cleanse yourself, as well as how do you cleanse your magical objects, as well as your living environment? You can also cleanse anytime that you want to, so certainly if you cleanse on a waxing or the waning moon, include that as well. You could make a list of magical housekeeping supplies that you use. Do you create your own mixes for sprays, for cleansing, for air freshening? Do you have a very specific mix of herbs and maybe a little bit of salt that you use in floor washes? Whatever it might be, you can make a list regarding your cleansing supplies for your magical realm. You can have a list of what magical locations do you use. Is there a special grove of woods that you use? Is there a special beach that you use? For me, I like going to the ocean in Newport, Rhode Island, and I've got a couple of 3 places listed as magical locations that I use there, as well as I have a forest around me, so I've got a couple of locations listed there as well. But certainly you can keep a list of the locations that you use to practice your magic. You could make a list of your favorite things. What are your favorite colors? What are your favorite colors for magic? How about incense? What's your favorite incense? What incense do you find that you burn the most? What kind of pen is your favorite? What really rings your bell when you're writing on pieces of paper with that specific pen, that ink? It can be anything, but a list of your favorite things is a really wonderful thing that you can refer back to when you're feeling a little bit slumpish and maybe you want to infuse a little bit more magic in your life and just utilize one of those favorite things to help you do so. Speaking of favorite things, you could also make a list of your least favorite things. What really irks you? What really annoys you? What really grinds your gears and gets you going? Make a list of that, because that can be a really strong springboard for you to start working with your shadow self and start doing some of that shadow work that you know you've been putting off. So certainly great idea to do. Really helps us to grow as we look and analyze what really annoys us and really try to understand why that is. You could have a list for your pets. The personality of your pets. What's their favorite food? What's their favorite treat? What's their favorite thing to do with you? What time do they go to bed? What time do they wake you up in the morning? And what's their favorite parts of the house? Just little go-to points that you can always refer back to years and years and years down the road. And it can be for your pets, your familiars, they're all one and the same, right? So certainly a list like that is something that you're going to treasure long after you've put it together. This next list goes into what I like to call of Enchanted Listening. So we've all been there, I can guarantee you, but you go to a store, maybe it's a coffee shop, maybe it's a supermarket, wherever it might be, but you go out in public and no matter what is going on, there is this always one conversation that just really pops and just finds its way directly into your ears. Write down, not verbatim the conversation, but the tone of the conversation. What was said that really stuck out to you? How was it said? Where was it? When was it that it was said? Because to me, what I like to think is when those type of conversations really pop out to me, that's the universe trying to communicate with me. That's a message for me to try to decipher and to try to understand. So if I write down the highlights of that information, I can go back to it down the road and learn from it, or at least put it into correspondence with maybe something that happened later on, because then going forward as it happens, it gets easier and easier to decipher those messages. Write a list of your favorite Sabbaths and how you celebrate them. Now, we've got a few Sabbaths, but we don't all celebrate each and every one of them. Next week is going to be Mabon, which is what I like to think of as the witch's Thanksgiving. So certainly we can write about any of the Sabbaths or all of the Sabbaths, but how you celebrate them, what kind of tools you might use during that Sabbath, what kind of colors you might decorate with, as well as what kind of rituals you might do and offerings you might offer to the universe or a deity within that Sabbath. Keep a list of each season, what you love about the season, what you notice about the season, what are you inspired by within that season? Along with that, different activities that you like to do within that season, how you like to dress, what colors really correspond with you during that season. A seasonal list is really awesome to do because if we do it each and every season, or we do one strong list based upon the seasons, it gives us something to go back and refer to when we're feeling sort of stagnant within one season. When we're feeling like, oh, this winter's never going to end. This is our third nor'easter. You get to look into spring and some of the things that inspired you during the spring, different ways you celebrate it. And again, it just lifts you up. Again, it gives you that magic to make your day less mundane and more magical. You could have a witchy on the go list. When you're going plan on day trips, you're going to the woods, you're going to the beach, you're going someplace that you haven't been in a while. I personally like to pack some magical items for myself that include my grimoire and a bunch of other things that I put inside of this bag. Along with some of the things I put in that bag included some bottles, some Ziploc bags, some paper bags, different things that I might be able to put things in if I find them along the way, like stones, leaves, anything of that nature. You can make a list that you can keep in your grimoire of the things that you would take when you go on these adventures with others or by yourself. And it makes perfect sense to do because for me, I don't always remember everything I want to take, so when I'm planning my trip, I do take out my grimoire, and I do go to that list, and I do figure out what it is I want to pack up within it. And yes, I know I am a Virgo, and that's one of the things that I like to do. You can make a deep, magic-enhancing gratitude list. What are the things you're truly thankful for? From the littlest, most mundane things to the biggest things in your life. Keep a list of everything that you're grateful for and continue to add to that list. And I promise you, when you're feeling stagnant, you're feeling stuck, or you're going through one of those days when you're feeling really disenchanted, open up your grimoire, go to your gratitude list, and relive the magic within that list. And it's going to make you feel better, it's going to pick you up, and it's going to offer you a magical booster shot. Keep a list of affirmations, power words, power quotes, things that really give you that uplifting feeling, that give you that motivation that you want, and that motivation that sometimes we need. Keep that list going, keep that list strong. When you're feeling, again, stuck, stagnant, just a little bit disenchanted, go to those affirmations and really live them, really breathe them, put life into them, and I promise you, it's going to make your realm so much more magical and a lot more pleasing. Make a list of how you actually engage with your higher power, your deity, your spirit guide, whomever it might be. What kind of offerings do you give? What kind of actions do you take? What kind of symbols do you use? What kind of incense, candles, rituals, anything you want to add to that? Make it your own list and make it something that you can refer back to when you're feeling stuck or when you really want to reach out to one of your guides or to your deity or to the universe in general. We've talked about this one before, but I'm going to bring it up again because I'm sure not many of you have actually done it. But keep a list going of your favorite tarot spreads that you use. Along with that, any oracle spreads that you use. When you use them, why you use them, what kind of results do you get out of them? And keep that list going. And it can be an active list that you continuously add to. Have a list going of what you personally like to do on the full moon, on the new moon. Do you do divination? If you do, what type? Do you make moon water? If you do, what do you use? Where do you put it? How often do you, how long do you keep it? How often throughout the month do you actually use it? That list can be anything at all that you do during that new moon or that full moon as a ritual, as a witch, as yourself. Make it as long as you want to make it and refer back to it during that lunar cycle so that you're reminded of things that you may want to do that you may have forgotten about because of life's day-to-day activities. Sometimes we really do need to be reminded that we are a magical being and we're not to be fucked with. And that being said, a good way of doing that is keeping a list of the spells and magic that you've done that actually worked. How long it took to work, what kind of ritual was it, what was it that you needed out of that ritual, and how it all played out going forward. Definitely something to go to when you're feeling stuck, when you're feeling less than enchanted, when you're feeling, oh, I don't feel like my magic works all so well. Go back over to that list and keep adding to that list. And it doesn't have to be these big full-blown rituals that we do. It can be something as simple as affirmations that we say throughout the day and during the day to get where we want to be, how that works out for us. Simple spells that we do throughout the day, how those work out for us. You keep track of it yourself with your notebooks, but certainly something that you can put inside your grimoire. Make a list of the magic you want to try. Maybe you want to start doing some sigil work. Maybe you want to work with puppets. Maybe you want to work with magic bags or magic balls, whatever it might be. That all being said, make a list of what it is you want to put into your practice, research it, and again, the more often you refer back over to that list, the more likely it's going to be you're actually going to start practicing with it. Make a list of the beauty you find within yourself, the beauty you find within others, the beauty you find in the everyday, day-to-day activities that you do. Make that list long, make it strong, because it's going to be something that you can go back over to when you feel you need to get that magical boost, to get that uplifting feeling that you sometimes, or we sometimes need, right? If you saw my book before, you do know that I have a lot of quotes written throughout the book. But I also have a whole section just for quotes. So certainly you can make a list of quotes that you find really uplifting, really soul-stirring, something that really vibes with you. Keep that list going. And again, as you go through your day, you're going to have quotes that pop out to you. Write those down too and put those quotes inside of your book as well. How about a Witchy Wellness checklist? You can actually put together a checklist for yourself that you use to help make yourself as a witch well. When you're feeling stuck, what do you do to get out of that feeling? If you're feeling down, what do you utilize to get out of that feeling? When you want to feel more enchanted or you want your realm to feel more magical, what is it that you actually do? So a basic Witchy Wellness checklist is something that you can refer to over and over again throughout the month. And it's definitely something that's going to be inside your grimoire forever, and it's going to guarantee you open up that grimoire and you work with it other than just spell work. How about this? Make a list of what you utilize within your practice. Do you use tarot cards? What other divination forms do you use? Do you use candles? What kind of incense do you use? What colors do you use? Anything and any tool that you use in your witchy practice, make a list on. It's something that you can refer back to, but it's just something that helps us maintain that feeling of being a magical being. Here's a big powerful one. Make a list of everything, and I mean everything, that you would want to see happen within your life. From the most mundane thing to the most outrageously wonderful thing. Make that list, make it long, and again, make it strong, and refer back to it. Understand, this is a magical book. This is your energy. This is your magical energy. What we place inside this book, we can manifest. So if you keep a strong list of things that you want in your life and be really, really detailed about it, and doesn't matter how mundane it is or how outrageous it is, keep it going, and as things happen, check them off, but then add to it. Now this one's going to sound silly, I know that already, but you can keep a list and post-it notes of different things you want to add into your grimoire, different workings you want to put into your grimoire. Keep that list up front so that as you open your grimoire, you're met with that list of how you want to work within your grimoire next, what you want to add, how things might want to be changed up, whatever it might be. Here's one for you to try. I've been working on this myself. Make a list of witchy public art projects that you want to put together. Maybe it's something as simple as writing sigils on a stone. Maybe it's writing positive affirmations on stones, someplace that they can be left for people to come across. And imagine that, someone having a bad day, wondering about their lives, wondering about themselves, just walking around with their head down, just feeling badly, and they come across a stone that has a positive affirmation or a very positive message. You're going to change people's lives by doing so. So it's certainly something you can consider doing, something that I really enjoy doing. This one can be very helpful for you. Keep a list of the people closest to you, and whether they're a sun sign or a moon sign. It's going to offer you a deeper understanding, but again, it's going to help you to communicate with that person much more efficiently, much more effectively, and certainly it's going to pull away from a lot of conflicts that you may have with people because you're not understanding exactly how it is we want to communicate with them. Make a list of subjects you want to learn more about. Maybe it's divination, maybe it's cartomancy, maybe it's necromancy, whatever it might be. Make a list of whatever it is in your magical practice you want to delve deeper in and incorporate into your practice, or at least understand it a little bit more. Here's another good one, and I brought this up a little bit ago in this video right here, but make a list of 5-minute or less magical practices that you do or that you can do. Something as simple as stirring your tea or stirring your coffee, to different types of herbs you may carry, or different affirmations you may say in the morning, or different type of spells you may put upon yourself when you're showering in the morning. Whatever it might be, just make a list of things that take less than 5 minutes to infuse magic into your daily practice and your daily life. Here's another fun one. Make a list of magical crafts that you want to try out for yourself. Maybe it's making witches balls. Maybe it's making dream catchers. Maybe it's making besoms. Whatever it might be. Make a list of things that you want to do as a craft to enhance your magic and enhance your craft. Here's another fun one. Make a list of the magical books that you've read, as well as the magical books you want to read. As an example, I've read this book right here, which is Silver's Spells. I read it not because I wanted to practice the spells within a book, but I wanted to get a snapshot. I almost said Snapchat, but I wanted to get a snapshot of how the workings of her spells are designed, so I could maybe incorporate that style into my own. Another book that I really enjoyed reading is right here, Plant Witchery. I really recommend this book. I really love it. I really read it. And it actually was on my list of books to read in my magical reading list. And now it's on books that I've read in that same list. So you can put any book that you want in there. Maybe it's magical, maybe it's not magical, maybe it's an autobiography. Who knows what it might be? Whatever rings your bell, it's all up to you. So we're at that point in the video where I say things like, if you haven't already, please be sure to like, subscribe, leave me a comment below. Let me know what you think of the video, as well as let me know what you do to incorporate magic into your grimoire. Now for me, one of the things that I like to do to collect information throughout my day is keep a couple notebooks around. This is one of the first ones I keep around, and this is something that I carry with me everywhere. And mostly YouTube ideas come into this book. It's all about different ideas that I may have for a video, and it's all about different ideas I put down when I'm getting ready to script and plan out that video. Another book that I carry with me all the time is this Moleskin notebook. I love Moleskin. I highly endorse Moleskin. They're a great little notebook they have. But I'll put down different experiences I've had throughout the day and different quotes or sayings that I might have gone through within that day. And that being said, it's something that may or may not make it inside the grimoire. Because don't forget, we can collect all the information and we can write down a lot of things. However, at the end of the day, if it truly isn't inspiring, we don't need to put it inside of our grimoire. It's not sacred until we make it sacred. So you decide what actually goes inside of this book that you can utilize throughout your day, throughout your week, throughout your month for your magic. So be sure, check out one of these two videos below, and let me know what you think in the comments about this video and any other videos that you may want to see going forward within the channel and the community. And as always, until next time, please be safe, be well, and be blessed.